Hi, I'm Jerry.
And I'm Amy. Welcome to our channel, No House,
No debt,
No
no problem.
Problem.
For several years now, we have often thought it would be just fantastic to get out of debt. And we piddled at it, we tried somewhat, and could never really make any headway with it. If you've ever listened to any of Dave Ramsey's teaching, with his steps, the first step is have $1,000 for an emergency fund, and we feel like we've been stuck on step one for 10 years. We could never really get past it. So
It seemed like every time we'd have an emergency, it would be way over $1,000, and there we'd be back to baby step one. So we decided to do something a little bit different, a little more drastic.
So we thought through different things. What could we do to jumpstart this, even if it was a little drastic? We had often thought about selling our home.
A large home, and as our kids have grown and started getting out on their own, and I say a large home, it was 4-bedroom, 3-bath, and we just didn't need that space. So it seemed like it would make sense for us to downsize anyway. So that's why we decided to go ahead now that the market was looking good and to go ahead and sell.
Yeah. So with that, tell us what you do.
So I sell real estate. And when we sat down and started talking about what we wanted to do, I said, it's a seller's market and we're not going to have a hard time selling our home, but we may have a little bit of a hard time finding exactly where we want to go and the house that we want. So I suggested to him that because we love camping so much anyway, we used to tent camp all the time with the kids, why don't we buy a small camper and we'll stay in it for a month or two. That'll give us a little bit of time to find what we're looking for.
All right, so we made a plan, put our house on the market. It sold fairly quickly, I would say within a month. Yeah. So simultaneously, we're looking for a camper. Finally, we found a camper that was perfect for us and a truck, and we sold our house July 1st and kicked into the plan. The original plan was we love state parks, so we thought we would use state parks to camp in.
However,
around our area.
We found out you can only stay for about 2 weeks at a time before you had to move, which is exactly what we did. We actually went out of town on vacation when we sold, came back, went straight to the state park, booked as long as we could get there, and we were going to be heading out to another state park when we had somebody come and put new brakes on our camper that we had just bought. And he told us about this one that we're at right now. Our plan was to come for the weekend, and then we would end up going back to the state park. However, when we got to this particular campground, we loved it. It's just like a little mountain retreat right in the middle of where we were staying anyway.
And then we moved into this little camper. It has a pop out on one side. So I think it's 25 feet going down the road, and when you get there, it's like 31 feet set up.
So it was really cute because at this point we only had one child that was staying with us. We have one that graduated college, has her own little apartment, and then we've got another one in college who is staying in a basement apartment of a church member. So we only really had one staying with us full time.
Yeah. So we move into this camper. It's tight, it's cozy, but it's comfortable, and we just absolutely love it. It was in the summer, so they have catch and release ponds here, so we were fishing all the time. We were cooking out a couple times a week, and we just thought to ourselves, this is pretty cool. It'd be nice if I didn't have to move every 14 days or so. And it was really reasonable. It was like, I think at the time it was $700 a month because we had a smaller camper, 30 amp, and for water, electricity, TV, internet,
and a
trash,
sewer hookup, so you're not having to go dump anything.
Yeah, it was full hookups for the camper. So
has your TV and internet and everything. So
we thought this is fantastic.
In the meantime, we're continuing to look for homes. I'm scheduling showings, and we're going to look at them. And what we're finding is that we're not finding what we want, and the homes that we're looking at still have a little bit more space than we think we're even going to need in 2 years.
All right, so we got to thinking, what if we hung out at the campground longer, a semi-permanent location? We started checking into it, and turns out that we could actually, if we were willing to move spots, which we were going to move anyway, we could get a spot and stay there at least 2 years, maybe even longer than that. So we started thinking in that direction, still looking at houses, and by the time we got toward the end of that decision, we were like, I remember walking into a house that was right around our price range, clicked off most of our boxes.
Everything we said we wanted.
And I just walking through it, I'm thinking, yep, this would do it. I'm
At this
asking
point in
myself,
our life,
yeah,
you know.
and I'm asking myself, do I want to come home and cut this grass and take care of all this, and for what? Because that's what society kind of tells you that you're supposed to do. That's part of that dream.
And it is. It has been. I mean, we've been a
for many
homeowner
years.
For a long time. And it is the number one wealth builder in America. And as a matter of fact, as we'll get into this later, we started looking at our budget, what our budget would be if we really wanted to start snowballing debt. And, we could just meet all of our financial goals so much quicker. And then we started talking about what we think our future home would look like. We were not at the point in our life where we were like, this is what we need to make a decision that we'll stay with for 5 years, because we just feel like we're in a lot of flux with our son getting ready to graduate and where our kid's going to end up exactly.
So during that time period, right when we sold our house, we had just bought this camper, and I'm doing the budget. Well, we had decided months back that I would take over. She did it for years and did fine at it, but it was so stressful because we were always in debt. And so we met together and decided that I would take it over. So I'm looking at the budget, and I'm really liking the numbers that I'm seeing. When we sold the house, we immediately paid off $30,000 worth of debt. That's not all the debt. We'll talk about that later. But we immediately paid off $30,000. I'm looking at this monthly budget, and I'm realizing even with a monthly fee at the campground, we are way, way under what we would be in a house. At least $1,000 for the better in monthly budget. So we thought that would be a great way to start our snowball and continue this seriousness of getting out of debt. So then we start thinking, all right, we like this lifestyle, we like the financial part of it, but by this time we had been in our little camper, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was getting close to 2 months.
It was just cozy, and it was a one-room camper with a bathroom, of course, and it was just a little tight. So we said, if we're going to do this, we need to get something a little bit bigger, something a little more comfortable, and that's really where the root of our 2-year plan started kicking in. So we'll buy a more modern one and a bigger one, and we'll plan to live in it at least 2 years and have, plan this debt reduction and all that, actually to be out of debt in 2 years.
And it was real important to me. I mentioned that we have one at home, that he have his own space. So that was an important thing, because again, we were in that one room for just what we thought would be a few weeks, and that was fine. We put up a little curtain, he had his in, and we had our in, and that was fine for then. But if we knew if we were going to be doing this a little bit longer in order to meet these financial goals before we decided on something more permanent, that he would need to have his own space. So that led us to
we started thinking about buying a bigger camper. So we got to thinking, and Amy said, well, what if, if we're staying put and we're not moving, why don't we just find somebody that could move it for us?
If we needed it moved.
Yeah, if we needed it moved, and then we don't have to buy that bigger truck, because we really didn't want to go get another truck payment, and for a size truck you would need.
Right, that would increase our debt, which our goal is, the whole purpose of this was to decrease our debt and decrease our monthly going out. And right now, all of our vehicles are paid for.
Yeah. So we did a little bit of research. Turns out that the guy who originally replaced our brakes on the old camper that lived in this new campground that we moved to, he said, we asked him about it, and he said, yeah, that's one of the things I do. I occasionally will move big campers for people.
Yep.
So we checked on the price of that. It was doable. Even if we had to do it 2 or 3 times, it was way, way less than going out and getting the truck payment. So that began to set some other things in motion. At that point, we started looking hard for a newer camper, something that would be comfortable. Originally, we thought we would go used just because of resale value and depreciation and all that. But we began to go all over the place looking, and through a series of events, we were led to the one that we purchased. And
which is a story in itself that we'll share later. But anyway, it ended up that we ended up getting a good fifth wheel, and it's basically like a little tiny home, and it is really, really enjoyable, the lifestyle that we're living. Again, I know that we'll probably own a home in the next 3 years of some sort. That is changing as well, as to what's going to meet our needs. But it's been a really unique and fun experience, and it's helping us meet a lot of our financial goals.
So this channel is all about our
Journey.
Mainly our journey toward debt freedom. And for us, that journey is going to be living in an RV and a fifth wheel. And so it'll appeal to two different kinds of viewers. Those that are interested in getting out of debt and watching us. We haven't arrived yet. This is not the end of the story. We invite you to come along with us.
This has been a really cool thing for us to jumpstart our journey again.
The other side, besides the journey of getting out of debt, is just our journey of living in an RV. Everything has been a learning experience, from hooking up sewer lines to having toilet issues to not knowing how to turn on the hot water heater, whether it's electric, gas, or both. And, just story after story. So part of it is just this RV lifestyle for us, which we're absolutely loving. So if this interests you, we hope you'll hit subscribe. Schedule is to do one video a week, just about our life and our journey through debt freedom, and taking that journey by way of staying in an RV that we don't take anywhere.
Yeah.
So we hope you'll join us on that.
Thanks.
I forgot what it was first.
Hi, I'm Jerry.
Oh yeah. Hi, I'm Jerry.
And I'm Amy. And we are No House,
No debt, no problem.
You still got pistachio all through your teeth, Jerry. You may actually have to go brush those bad boys. The little lickety lick ain't working. How would I do this? Would you like to see your teeth? Let me just take a close-up, pretty picture of them.
I'm sorry, we're supposed to say wow.
There's some,
That's
there's
not
some, there's some up there. There's some down there.
Alright. Second try.
Hang on. Got a couple of big butt.
Try to be natural.
Okay. I need your head to block the sun. Okay.
Hi, I'm Jerry.
And I'm Amy. And we are No House. I'm